building structure is going to be very difficult down there. But if we can put out some kind of temporary thing, if there's a need for this, if there's a want for that, look, we're just going to make some money, help the park, help them.
The old snack stand, I mean, I have been in the park in the
Gone.
last few years, just walking, but I didn't know if the old, I mean, I was a member of Pleasureland. I'm aging myself for many years. I knew the family. Yeah, hi. And there was the snack bar on the right when you walked
On the
in.
Pleasureland side?
On the Pleasureland
Yeah,
side.
those are gone. Those are
Okay.
all gone. And there's even on the Mullis Park side there, skate park is right about here. That's where the pool is. And this right here is the old building. I think it burnt down about 10 years ago. There are no buildings there anymore. As I mentioned, if we bring in a temporary trailer per season, something, that's definitely an idea. Right? Something we, with the steps, that's something we can do after the park is built.
Yeah, that'd be really
That'd be a
cool.
great idea. Yes, Bob. What?
Did you get any information from the people at the Mawa, since there already is the skate park up there?
We haven't, I haven't talked to anybody like in the town, if that's what you mean.
Because, I mean, they have one up there already.
They
That's
do.
like functional, so I mean.
It's, well, just skateboarder wise, the ground is pretty rough. I mean, I don't want to like complain and say that, like, cause you know, it's, you know. It's
What we're
skate
doing is
park.
we're asking these guys to get involved. I mean, we want them to take ownership in the project, and they are not happy with the Mawa. Mawa is nice for Mawa, but they would like to do something that's, they're not concrete, I don't believe, over there.
No, it's asphalt ground with prefab ramps, and the ground is very rough, especially for the hard wheels that skateboarders use these days. It's insane. Like.
Yeah, so if we're
I would
gonna
not
do,
wanna-
if we are gonna do something, I'd rather get them involved. They said it's gonna cost more. They said, fine, we'll fundraise.
Yeah, we'll
They started,
fundraise.
with the meeting I had with them, they started mentioning ideas and things
Yeah.
that I didn't even know about. So it's,
Yeah.
cool. Mike, one sec.
John, I also mentioned to you the last time, in the city of Passaic, okay, I know that they just approved.
The skate.
Did you go down there, take a look and see how they funded it? Okay, that would be a big help. Find out whatever information you can to see how they funded it,
Yeah.
if they got the money, okay, and then they can probably tell you the avenues that they traveled to get the money.
Yeah.
Might be helpful to you.
Yeah, Travis was just telling me about that. And there's probably some information online, and I could probably contact people. It's definitely a good idea.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Anybody else? No? Oh. There's another one over there. Jerry's got the mic.
I was just wondering, I know that if this creates a lot of interest with students, now I work at Ramapo College, so I'm always thinking students. How is the time going to be divided? Because you can't have swarms of kids in the skate park all at once.
That's something that we're gonna have to come up with as we develop it. That's gonna be
In-
part of the rules. But go ahead.
Like at a skate park, like that might be a concern, but that generally happens in areas like cities, like LES skate park in New York. That gets kind of crowded sometimes. But I mean, more like rural areas is the best word for it. I mean, yeah, suburban. Yeah, I don't know my terms.
That's okay.
Yeah. So it's just like a little bit more. Like less people, it's more open, but I mean, it'll definitely get used for sure. I have no doubt
Because you're
about it.
sounding like you want to attract a lot of people and get them away from the video games and onto the skateboard.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, thank you.
One thing I found with the skateboard community, they seem to like help each other and they work together. I would assume if there's 100 people there, you all can take turns.
Oh, for sure.
I
yeah.
mean,
Very-
that's something I just realized. Obviously, we have things will have to be tested to make sure that that's what's going on. But that's one thing I found with
Yeah.
with the group. It's a very strong community.
Yeah, if a skate park gets overcrowded, it's like people will get, they'll either leave or just kind of wait for stuff to die down. Like, yeah, yeah.
I just want to add on that. Just the way that the skate park is built has a lot to do. Like if it has to be designed so that there's different areas for advanced people and beginners, and that will separate people from colliding and hitting each other and getting too crowded.
Yeah.
And that's also part of the JIF, Joint Insurance Fund, that there has to be areas for, so already they're thinking with that fund in mind too. Okay? There'll be more questions at the end. We're all done. We can continue to ask questions if anything pops up along the line. But thanks, John.
Thank you.
Thank you, yeah. As I said, this is an evolving process. When we met, presented to the mayor and council in December. We weren't even talking about a bike park or BMX park. The different ideas have come to me, and we see what fits, what doesn't fit. And the guys from the BMX park feel there's a strong possibility this could work here. It requires very little. The area, we don't even have a letter on here because it's so new, but the area would be right along here, to around 202. I showed in the video. There's just nothing there but sticker bushes. And so I spoke to the BMX people. As you know, we're trying to get we're hoping to have a mountain bike program in recreation starting hopefully this spring. And with that, so I spoke to the BMX community. They're interested in this. So they asked Steve Wagner to be their spokesperson. Where's Steve? Oh, there you are. And so Steve will give a presentation.
We'll start with that video. Can we turn the lights down for the video? Yeah, Mike. This is very self-explanatory. This was why it actually said it.
A little bit longer, but it's really been a great influence for the kids. The guys who have built it have been around a lot, encouraging the kids, talking with them, really just one-on-one, no matter what age. Great. So I really see it as a positive influence for our community.
I'm Wade Strover from Clinton, New Jersey. I got two younger guys, and I think it's going to be a real neat way for them to see, older kids doing some tricks and get them into the sport.
All right, hi, I'm Andrew Sweatman. I'm a resident of Somerset County. My son and I come here probably about once a week. Max loves his bike, and this has been a great place for us to really practice without having to worry about traffic and cars and really getting hurt. It's a safe, fun environment. This has been terrific. It's been an opportunity for us to really get out and come as a family and just enjoy the park, which we probably wouldn't without it. All right, thanks for putting this up for us.
I'm only a Miller and I live around the road that way. I just think it's awesome because, the jumps are outrageous and they keep just building more and more onto it.
Yeah. How often do you come?
About every week, every 2 weeks.
on the end of the video there, it says Jorba can help, and Jorba will be involved with the bike park. They've already expressed an interest to help design it, along with several other people. Art White, who was asked by the Oakland Environmental Commission to come and speak at a meeting about building sustainable trails and that kind of thing throughout New Jersey. Oakland at one point, I guess, was looking to do that up at Camp Todd. So Art White is probably going to be designing this track, this bike park, which will be, as Mike said, right in this area here. There's a steep slope here, which we're going to hopefully incorporate into a downhill for more advanced riders. But most of this area is all flat and all sticker bushes. That's it. Any trees that are there, they're going to stay. There's no need to take down any trees. The trees are actually a great asset to a bike park. It provides shade and everything else, and there's no reason to even think about cutting any of them down. There's a pump track. The pump track that you saw in the video, how cute were those kids? You know, they have a pump track up in West Milford, and if you ever want to go up there one time, it's by their, I guess, by their Department of Works in the airport area. But it is loaded with these little kids. Just they have a great time. It's off the road, it's safe, it's fun, it's exercise, and you know, main thing is they're off the streets. If you can, I took this photo. This is the Danny D'Elia building is over here. The kids in town, this is Valley School parking lot. I guess they wait till there's no cars, or they think there's no cars, and they go flying down this hill and jump off the curb and right across the street. Not exactly a safe activity. I didn't know we were going to have this up, so I don't need that. This right now is where we would have the youth, the beginner. The plan is to have different sections. You come in here off of Doty Road, and you would have a beginner, advanced, and an expert. So it would be completely separate areas, so they wouldn't be interfering with each other. And here I would mostly want to see single track or double track, which we would like to turn that sticker bush into this. Wide enough for little kids to ride around. It's all flat, it's as flat as this floor here. Cut out the sticker bushes, and you've got a trail. We don't need to do anything other than clean the dead trees out of this whole area, cut the sticker bushes down, create trails. The initial plan is not to bring any dirt in and not to make a pump track. We would have to deal with the DEP and get permits to bring dirt in if we ever wanted to do that. We would like to try to do that in the future, but right now it's just to cut the debris out and just make trails throughout there. This is the top there is Route 202, and it's not a steep incline. It's not anything too steep that any 12-year-old can't ride down, but that wouldn't be obviously for a 6-year-old. What we do is turn it into this. Single track for more advanced riders, in and out and around the trees. This is another area that's just, there's broken fences just laying on the ground, trees that are fallen. We would turn that into a skills park. Alan Cohen is here. He's going to be putting together a mountain biking skills program through the Rec Commission. And we plan on building different areas here for, for a 6-year-old, maybe you go over a log this big. And maybe for an adult or, 16-year-old, have a log like this that you ride along, have skinnies, you have to balance. Just have a foot off the ground, maybe logs, try to make everything all natural. Not build any structures, just use what we have there. The trees that are falling down, cut them up and make obstacles out of them and that kind of thing. I just put this on because I thought these kids were cute with their full-faced helmets and their gear. No one's going to be allowed to ride in the park without a helmet. That goes without saying, but there would be a trail rating system. For any of you skiers out there, you're probably not too familiar with this for mountain biking, but for skiers, it's generally, I guess, the green blue, and then black diamonds are double black. We're going to do the same thing with this. And at the entrance to each trail, each part of the park, you know, when you come in here, you're going to have a white, and what do they use? Green. White and green area. Probably here it's all flat, and then it's going to get progressively more advanced. And it'll say what there's going to be in here. There'll be obstacles, there'll be 2-foot log overs, or there'll be a, you know, whatever kind of skills thing we put in there. And this will be at the beginning of anything that's too difficult, that we feel is difficult. So say, stop, read this. This is what's here. Are you sure you have the ability to go here? This I got from somewhere out west. A lot of these pictures I got from, you know, mountain biking is a lot more popular out west. I don't know why, but it's more, I don't know if it's more accepted or what, but in Bergen County, you're not even allowed to ride bikes in a, like a camp go park and that kind of thing. I'm not sure why, but hopefully that'll change someday. And this is, this will be at all the parks put this at the entrance. It says what's in the park. It has the closest hospital. It has the police station, 911. It tells you no one's allowed in the park without a helmet. It tells you, you know, to be careful. It has a map of the park and a map of where to go for emergency help if you need it. So the idea with this park is to make it environmentally friendly, because it is in wetlands. We're going to be working closely with the Environmental Commission in town. I talked to one of the members, and he said absolutely any help that he can give to make sure that this is environmentally sound, you know, he will help, and the rest of the commission will pitch in and help with, and they may even hopefully they'll help us submit some permits to bring some dirt in, because right now I don't think you can bring any dirt into a wetlands at all unless you get approval. And I walked this, I guess it's wetlands, but I walked this on the rainiest of days and it drains well. I didn't see any puddling in the whole area that we want to put the park. We're not looking at any taxpayer money. This is all hedge clippers. Rob Rybacki is here, the owner of Pedal Sports, and he's going to donate the signs for the park. We'll stick them in, we'll get a post hole digger, stick the logs, the sticks in the ground, you know, a post, we won't even cement them in. So we'll have signage throughout. It'll be all directional, so we won't have people coming from different directions. We plan on having the local kids help build the park, so they'll have, it'll be their park and they'll respect it and you know, not let anyone trash it. I've also contacted Jorba, and we're going to be able to get this on the race schedule. There's a New York, New Jersey race series put on by Campmore Sporting Goods, and to race in this series, you get extra points if you do 10 hours of trail maintenance. So this will be included. So we'll have adults that'll be working on these to help build it and maintain it, you know, every year. You know, if you have 100 adults that need 10 hours of trail maintenance, and they put, you know, you have 10, 15 adults in this park, that's a lot of man hours. So we're not looking for any money to do anything here at all. We're working with the joint insurance, excuse me, the joint insurance fund, JIF. It's the borough's insurance company, and whatever they say we can do, we'll do. Whatever they, you know, whatever we can't do, we won't. We're going to build it to their specifications. So it's really a safe place to ride. The kids won't be on the street. And have a fun, challenging park for kids of all ages. There'll be something for everyone here, kids and adults. I guess that's well, we have actually, other than Rob from Pedal Sports is going to get together a group of kids to help build this. I have Dave Potash and James Construction who offered to help. Art White, who's going to help design it, along with the actual Jorba, which is Jersey Off-Road Biking Association, which that's their thing. They want kids to ride, you know, off the roads and parks like this. And they are all in to help us and give whatever assistance they can in designing. And making it safe and conforming to the environmental. Like I said, no trees are going to be cut down, just sticker bushes. You can't walk 10 feet in this area without coming across a sticker bush. It's they're pervasive there. So, anybody have any questions?
Just before, again, just to reiterate, this is maybe like a subcommittee of the bigger picture. I mean, obviously, everything has to go through approvals to the mayor and council, DEP, and it kind of branches out. Each one of these groups are talking about how they're going to do it, but obviously it filters in within a larger committee, the mayor and council, DEP, and likewise. But so just want to say, any questions? Oh, Jerry.
Thank you. Yes, what are you going to do about a parking lot or a parking situation, and will it be paved if there is one?
On the pleasure land side, we have a roadway here. It comes all the way around like this. This roadway, there are sticker bushes all along here. The sticker bushes will be cleared, and from what we've understand from the borough engineer, that since Pleasureland had parking on the lawn at one time, we'll be allowed to have parking on the lawn. So there'll be parking all along here. We're not going to pave it. Anything else, there is some pavement down right now. We're not going to pave. We're just going to clear the lot, the driveway, and have parking all along the side. And then when most park, this is going to be a bigger project. There's a lot of parking in here, a lot of driveways and parking lot, and it's like 200 parking spots here. But that's already paved, and there's some issues that we have to. The biggest issue is raising funds to repave this. Okay.
This is not, for the park in general, not necessarily the bike part. Is there water source? I mean, we're talking about a dog park, so fountains so that you can fill a bowl of water if you have 30 dogs running, where kids can get a drink so that we're not like having plastic bottles thrown. Will the town be picking up the garbage for those plastic bottles that are thrown and the poop that's picked up and thrown into the garbage?
Well, I can speak for the bikers. Most of the bikers are going to have water bottles, the cages on their bike. And
but there's still the refill.
I'll answer it. Yeah. There's no water here. There's no water source. There are no pipes here. And doing that, you're talking about stages and years of DEP approval. We did get estimates from DPW. We just included in the original plan presented to Mayor and Council back in December, which allowed us to hold these meetings. And in that, they gave us costs for recyclable bins. You know, we want to get porta potties, and so they can every morning, whatnot, do that. Anything else? Wait for here.
Oh, I just want. Oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say, just to take a step back, the roller park, to start with that, I am just like stunned that that's what we're going to build. I mean, I was envisioning what they have in Mahwah, which is basically a parking lot with some ramps, and it's just like, when I saw the pictures of this, I'm like stunned. I mean, like, wow, that's tremendous. And the same thing with the bike park. It's just beautiful. I'm just like amazed. The one thing I just wanted to clarify for Steve, you can't run mountain bikes or ATVs on a hiking trail because it'll destroy it. It erodes the ground, the roots and stuff. So that's why they wouldn't be able to ride there. So it's great that they could have a place to do it. So anyway, that's all I have to say at this point. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
no, it's not on.
Jerry.
Would these ramps be deteriorated by like the rain and the weather?
Eventually.
So they have to be like redone?
Yep. The track will be, the whole track will be maintained, and Rob has made a commitment to have him and his kids, the local bike riders, help with that. We're not going to cut any trees down for these things, but trees that fall, they could be from lightning or whatever. Just cut them up and lay them out. Yeah, but they're going to rot. They're on the ground. Eventually, they will.
Yeah. Thank you.
Just getting back, I'm sorry, to this first question. As we talk about phase one. Phase one is opening the park. We're talking about some of these projects here. We're talking about now our phase two projects. Phase one to get the park open includes opening Doty Road by having a road. And actually, we plan on hoping to name this road the Dan Marco Lane after Joe's dad. And we have pictures and proof that there is parking. They used to park buses. Last meeting, they talked about the buses they parked along here. So that's part of the phase one of getting the park open, You're conscious of what's going on, as well as getting, the minimum to get the park open. And then once the park is open, then we can talk about these other projects.
Hello. My question is, what is the estimated time frame for phase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever?
Phase one is to get the park open. We hope to have, depending on how the meeting goes, how our conversation goes, but if everything goes well, we hope to present the mayor and council something in a monthish. Let them talk about it. Once approval is whatever they discuss, whatnot, whatever we come with the final thing, then we have to see what we need permits for in DEP. You have to wait for DEP approvals, what kind of money we need. So I wish I could say, best case scenario, hopefully next spring. Worst case scenario, as long as it takes.
We went over before the skate park and just the BMX park. It just made me think that having a BMX park next to a skate park, some of the BMXers might want to go to the skate park. And I don't know if we mentioned that already, if the skate park is just for skateboarders.
Based on the GIF, not only that, but the insurance fund is just skate. And if there's bikes on there, we're going to throw them off. Depending how it has to be policed, but they're not going to be allowed on.
And there should be no skateboarders in this.
On the dirt. We good? Oh, ready, another question? Just Jerry.
With the skate park, what about rollerblades?
No, it's a skate park only park, yeah.
Just skateboards?
Mhm.
Okay.
We good? Okay, thanks, Steve. Thanks to all the BMX guys there. Good job. Anybody knows Ryan? He's been working on this. I thought it was 6 years. He said it was 4 years.
Maybe 5.
Oh, 5 years now, 5. On the dog park. And he put together a great presentation. Let's watch Ryan now.
Can't bring up my water bottle. Don't want to have a Marco Rubio moment here. But I'd like to thank all of you for coming here today. I've been working on this for almost 5 years now. But I want to just, before I get into the details, I just want to start off and just fill in some confusing things that you might be hearing from around town there. So, go ahead. There we go. So the first thing is, man, a lot of you were saying that you've heard of the dog park before. I felt like didn't I sign a petition somewhere, like at Zaytinia or at the Oakland Java? Something sounds familiar here. Well, it is familiar. I actually started this as my 8th grade project at Valley Middle School. Everyone had to pick a project, and you had to do something to benefit the community. And I decided that we just got our dog Scooby, and that's him there in the picture, my dog Scooby. And we, as we're starting to learn about dogs, after rescuing him and figuring out, what do they need for exercise? Where do you have to take them? What do you have to do? We learned that a dog park was a great place that you can take the dog. It's a safe, enclosed area, and it allows the dogs to socialize with one another and run around, have a good time. And they love it. The humans love it because they don't have to take the dog on a walk. And it's a win-win for everybody involved. I had originally proposed another property in town, but then I was told that we're going to be doing, we could be buying the Heritage Hills property, which is the Pleasureland Millers Park property. So a year or two ago, the town purchased the property, and then when Mike started doing this whole White Oak Park thing, he came up to me and said, I know you've been working on this, and of course I happily obliged to join in the project. But more recently, instead of just calling it Oakland Dog Park, I've decided I'm going to name it after my mom, Jill. She actually passed away this past August from cancer. And she was one of the leading forces behind us getting a dog. She spent all the time training Scooby, working with our dog. She actually went with Scooby to training classes and was able to get Scooby to become an official therapy dog. So they actually went to the Oakland Care Center, and they went to, they actually went to the Oakland Public Library so the kids can read to the dog. And I thought after, and she, even when she was sick, she still planned on afterward going back to these places, seeing the people in the nursing homes. And I thought it was only fitting, of course, also being that she was the inspiration for this project, that I would name it after her. So that's how that happened. But why does Oakland need a dog park? So interestingly enough, there are about a little under 13,000 people, citizens of Oakland. As of last year, Oakland gave out just under 1,300 dog licenses. So if you can, if you can make that comparison, that's a lot of dogs for a town our size. And one of the other things is, why a dog park? Don't we have lots of mountains and forests and things like that? You can take the dogs. Well, the mountains and the forests are exactly the problem of why you need a dog park. Oakland is very hilly, as everybody knows. It's not really a nice, friendly place to go and walk your dog down the street because you're going up hills, and it's very tiring. But the thing about a dog park is that it's nice and flat, it's an enclosed area, and allows the dogs to run free, socialize, meet other dogs. The other big thing is parks nearby. We have plenty of parks nearby. There's Darlington, we have the Ramapo State Forest. All these places are wonderful places, but you can't let your dogs roam free. A lot of these places you can have the dog on a leash, walk them around, but you can't let them run free. And the nearest dog parks, they do exist. There's many of them. Dog parks are starting to grow across the country, but the closest ones are in Pequannock, Ridgewood, Hawthorne, Ringwood, and West Milford. So you have to travel several miles to get to one, but having one here in town, of course, would benefit everyone here in town. But as I just brought up, what are some of the benefits of a dog park? So obviously, because everyone knows, you take your shovel, you dig into the ground in Oakland, you're going to hit rock. You're going to hit the rock. You're going to hit pebbles. It's not very fun. Even just to plant some flowers, you can it's hard enough to try and get a fence for a lot of homeowners in Oakland. So by having a place like a dog park, you don't have to have that fenced-in backyard to let your dog out and roam free. You could take them to the dog park. And it also, if people are considering moving to Oakland, we already have under 1,300 dogs in this town. If people are coming and moving into town, they'll say, wow, you got a dog park. That's a great place where I can take Fido and let him run and play with other dogs. So if you're coming and moving to Oakland, that's a nice, pretty big good plus. And also, you have local businesses. You have your JB Pet Supply, and you have your dog grooming salon. And having a place that is more pet friendly is going to mean that's going to be better business for them, because people are going to be coming into town, or the Oakland citizens might shop at these places even more. And also, one of the things which someone pointed out to me is that it's also a good place if you're considering getting a dog. A lot of us, if you're in Paramus, you're thinking about getting a dog, you might go to the mall, and you might go in the mall, and you might go to the pet store, and you look in the window, and you're like, oh, isn't that a cute dog? Doesn't he look really cute? And that's get your mind thinking. But if you have a place like a dog park, if you're interested in getting a dog, you might go down to the dog park, and that could be the place where you look. It's like, wow, that's a really cute dog. I want to, maybe be interested in getting a dog. And with the Ramapo Bergen Animal Shelter in town, that could be a really big plus for them, because that makes people think, oh, you know what, maybe I can get a dog. Oh, wait, there's a place in town where I can go and actually rescue a dog and not have to think about maybe getting a dog from a puppy mill. Even big organizations, the American Kennel Club, they've said a dog park's great to allow the dogs to exercise. It's good for off-leash, things like that. Dog owners get to go and socialize, meet other dog owners. And of course, it helps only the community. It's a central place where you can take the dogs. Exercise is good for dogs, and it makes them less violent, if you can think about it that way, because they're not cooped up. They can waste their energy. They have a good time. Dog owners know you take your dog to a dog park, you bring them home, the dog is pooped for the rest of the day. They don't want to do anything. They are tired, and they are happy. And I also was able to speak to a few experts. Can you go to the next slide, please? A few experts. I talked to Mr. Rumbala. He's a dog trainer, and he actually lives here in Oakland. Miss Babette Haggerty, she's been doing some things around town as well with training dogs, and a doctor at the Ramapo Valley Animal Hospital, all pretty much saying the same thing, in that the socialization of dogs in a place like a dog park is a benefit for the dogs, for them to get exercise, and also for the local community as having a place to take the dogs to go. So this is about my design concept of where I would like to have the dog park. So just for a little, make everyone's lives a little easier to compare it to this map here. In this bottom left-hand corner, we have Portobello's. ShopRite is all the way up here on the hill. You can barely make it out. But then over here, on the left, the center left of the screen, you have the Burger King. And then, this is the entry road, the skate park, the Great Lawn, and the band shell would be over here. But the big thing that I want to point out is we are going to have two separate areas. A lot of people ask, is it going to be one area or going to be two areas? There are going to be two separate areas, one for small, one for large dogs. Another issue is I looked at a very interesting study, and they pointed out that a lot of the times when you see dog parks, they put them right next to each other. So you have the large and the small right next to each other. That way they can share the same fence. but that's actually a bad thing because when you go up to the fence or when the dogs go up to the fence, they're going to stand at the fence, look through, see the other dogs, and they're going to bark their heads off. That's not getting them exercise. So by having this green buffer zone in the middle, just by leaving the natural state in trees, that allows a little private area for the dogs to run and go free, and the same thing with the small dog park. So they're not interacting with each other necessarily by barking each other at the fence, and it also fits the park in general in that we're trying to make this an ecologically and environmentally friendly park. Now this other interesting thing we have here is I have a nice space here of about 50 feet. Now one of the things that we'll find out from the DEP is that because there's this sensitive stream going through, which we're going to make sure we protect, we have to make sure that it's far enough away in order to do any construction. Now we're still going to have to go for permits in order to build a fence because it is a permanent structure, but just to make sure that it is, we're showing effort and that it is far away, we are going to leave some space between the stream and where the dog parks would go. And then of course we would have a nice walkway that would connect the road to the dog parks, and possibly maybe you have that go around and meet up at the skate park, so it's nice one continuous walkway. So what are some things that are unique about this dog park that I'm proposing? Like I said, we have the two separate areas with the small wooded area in the middle. Of course, you're going to have the double gate. As it's a safety precaution. All dog parks have to have that. But one of the big things I want to point out is keeping trees. A lot of the times you go to these dog parks and they just tear down all the trees to make it completely flat. And it's nice, it allows the dogs to roam free, but when it's the summertime and you're taking your dog there, the sun is beating down on you, it's hot, it's uncomfortable. So not only by leaving some trees there is that good to provide shade, but it's also good for the environment. But one of the special things is you'll see this picture, there's a nice little bench surrounding the tree. A lot of the times, in parks like, I think in Ridgewood they have this, instead of knocking down the tree, they'll keep the tree, but then they put an ugly fence around it. Not only does it look ugly, but then it doesn't help the tree, because it doesn't help with the roots and things like that. But by having a tree bench around it, you can have you can either buy it or someone could custom make it to fit the tree. And not only is it good because it keeps the tree, it saves the tree so that dogs aren't peeing on it, and also because then if someone wants to go and sit down by a tree, they have a nice little place to do so. Also, we said the wooden barrier between the parks for nice environment reasons. And one of the ideas that I had is the walkway could be paving stones, which makes it a little nicer, and you can use that as a fundraiser. So I compiled a lot of stuff together, and I found out this is about how much it's going to cost. It's going to be between $50,000 and $56,000. But a lot of the things could go down in price if we get things donated, or if we get lower bids, things like that. But the average fencing estimate I received was about $18,000. We're going to save some money with mulch, because I'm hoping that with some of the trees that we do take down, we can put that in a chipper and have that be a nice base mulch. But we're probably going to have to put some mulch on top of that, so that's going to be a cost. Getting park signage. I want to try and get an information sign, dog disposal stands, recycling bins, and then the paving stones. And like I said, that would be about how much it would be if we did all blank. But one of the ideas I have is that if we can get engraved paving stones, people can pay for the paving stones. Obviously you would charge a little more, but then that extra money would go towards paying for the rest of the paving stones. So the general price of the paving stone project would be much less than the $11,000 I'm proposing. So as I just said, ways to fundraise. As you can see, one of the ways, which we already started, is I'm wearing my nice Oakland lapel pin. I have plenty of them if you would like to buy them. I'm selling them for $5. It's for to start off with some original costs. But it's of the borough seal, which is actually right behind me there. Then the other idea I said is have the paving stones. People can get their name, a message engraved on a paving stone. Have an information sign there. Not only is it good to display park information, but we can say to businesses like ShopRite, we can say, hey, if you can donate $1,000, we will put your name on the sign acknowledging you that you donated this amount. And that might encourage some businesses to donate some money toward the project. And then the other thing is, you see this nice little logo up here, which, a design contest, but it looks beautiful. And I'm hoping that maybe we can take that and maybe even make it into a magnet and sell magnets you can put in your car, your refrigerator, things like that. So other ways we can save money, instead of buying an information sign, instead of buying a rule sign, instead of buying tree benches, we can have Boy Scouts or local volunteers make these things so that you save money. Like I said, the base mulch, you can use wood chip trees that you're going to be doing in construction anyway. There is a borough code regarding dog waste. And this could be something that could be more heavily enforced at the dog park to make sure that owners are picking up after their dog. If they're not, the town would make money off of people not picking up their waste. We could have advertisements hanging on the fencing of the dog park. If Petco wants to have a nice sign on the wall, they can do that. That would be money going towards the park. Another thing is this would obviously have to go through the town, but an idea I'm proposing is in order to fund it, we're doing several things. We're going to be trying getting grants. We're going to be fundraising, things like that. But in terms of making sure the park is being able to maintain over time, I would suggest that Oakland dog owners have to get an Oakland dog tag every single year. You have to hand in the money, show that you have a rabies shot, all these health things to the town. I would suggest that we add a $2 fee to that strictly for dog park maintenance. So if you get your dog tag, you pay the $2 in addition to what you pay, but then you can automatically be able to use the park. So because you're already proving your health records, the dog is clean. Now this is another thing that we'll have to talk to the town about, so obviously I can't say for certain what's going to happen is, but obviously it would be nice if the dog park was just for Oaklanders. That would be nice, we can use it to ourselves, but being realistic, you're going to have people from other towns coming to Oakland to use the dog park. But one of the things you want to make sure is, how can I be sure that these dogs who are coming into the dog park are clean, they got their shots, things like that. Obviously, there's going to be a rule sign saying what the dogs need to have, spayed, neuter, things like that. But I would also suggest that we have a nice big sign letting these people know that you can surely use the park, but you have to go through the same process that the Oakland residents do. You have to show to the town that the dog has their rabies vaccination, all of these different things. Maybe pay the same maybe even up to $5 fee, and then you too can use the park like all the other Oaklanders can. So that concludes my presentation. I encourage you to please go on. We have a nice Facebook page. You can email me if you're interested in buying a pin and things like that, and you'll be able to get updates about anything that I'm doing.
Good job, Ryan.
Thank you.
Good job. Any questions for Ryan?
I got two things. That was good, really good.
Thank you.
The first one being that I'll never use the dog park. My dog got attacked in one. So awesome as it is, my dog changed, and I think they're horrible.
Okay.
As great as they are, he changed, and now he's evil. But I think it's awesome, all the things that you're trying to do. The last point you made, my parents live in Ocean County, and this gigantic dog park. It probably is about an acre long. If you don't live in Ocean County, they won't let you in.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to the mall to this place, and you have to have all your records for all your dogs. We have 2 dogs, and they charge you $25 to use it one time. So my parents can use it because they live in town. They pay it $25. It works for the year, but that's how they do it. And you know what it says to me? That they don't want me at their dog park. So I would never pay $2 if somebody said to me, you have to pay me money to use this. When I can go to Ridgewood, or I could go to Woodcliff Lake where I used to live. And Woodcliff Lake was awesome. That's one of the things. I would never ever pay $2. Like, I know it sounds cheap, but that's just one of those things. Which leads to my second question, which is actually for you. West Oakland Ave, at Potash Lake. That's where I walk my dog, because he doesn't like people anymore. He doesn't like dogs. My little dog, she'll go to the dog park. The little one, she loves it. She loves running around. The big guy, he got attacked at doggy daycare. He got attacked at dog park. But the little one, is that open? Like, right now, it's got, you may know this better, but it's got I don't know who does. It's got the whole thing is closed. I heard that the pipe collapsed. Is that opening up anytime soon? Because I can't walk my dog there. Okay, thank you.
Well, if I could just talk about what you just said. Obviously, things are going to happen at a dog park. Most of the time, you don't hear about these sort of instances, but of course, there are things like that happen. Obviously, I can't guarantee that something isn't going to happen, but it's like if you take your kid, to the playground, you go, you play, things like that, but you don't know if a mean kid's going to come by and punch your kid in the face. So, I mean, you don't know exactly, what's going to happen, but you can just say is how can we create the safest conditions possible so that everyone can enjoy it. And then in terms of the fee, I mean, that's kind of the whole point. If you're going to use the park, help pay for the maintenance so we can keep it up. If you don't want to use it, then it's less for us to maintain.
Yeah, and also, too, at the December meeting, Councilman Pignatelli brought up a very good point, or an idea, and a town he used to be involved with, that if you get the rabies, proof of rabies shots and whatnot, you get a key fob, and you're allowed to use it. That's how you know who's in there, who's not in there.
How would you enforce it? That's what I was about to ask.
Well, this is one of the things that we're going to have to talk to the town about how exactly we're going to do this. I personally think that's an interesting idea, but from my experience, who's to say that there's going to be a dog owner who has a fob, they'll get in, and they see someone coming by, and it's like, oh, I don't have a fob to get in. Is that person going to be nice, swipe the thing for them, and they get in anyway? So then you don't want to be spending all of this money for something like that when it's not going to be enforced. But I'm saying it's a great idea. This is something that we're going to have to talk to the town about to figure out what the best solution is.
Do you have another idea?
Oh, wait, you need a mic.
Enforce it?
You need a mic.
Do you have another idea on how to enforce it?
Well, I've heard several ideas. I don't recommend it, but you can be a park like Ridgewood. It's a county park. Anyone can come in. Anyone can leave. I don't think that's the best option. I brought up my idea that I had. Councilman Pignatelli brought up the fobs. Those are the only things that I've heard of that certain towns do. If there's something that someone thinks about, I will definitely take a look at it. But I'm just trying to take a look from how can we do this most effectively, but also save money. Because we're trying to do this with the least amount of money possible.
Okay.
The town of Montville also have a dog park, and they charge, I think it's $5 for out-of-towners, and it's $10 a year for residents. And they do the same thing. That's how they monitor it. And I'm sure they would have somebody that works for the town or that is just, watching the dog park regularly, that goes there regularly. We keep our eyes open for our neighbors and our community. So if we see people that we don't recognize there, that aren't there, more than not, I'm sure the word will get around and, people.
Or like one of these signs here, we could have a phone number. So if the person's not leaving, you can call the number, the police could come, things like that. I mean, it's just for the benefit of everybody, Everyone wants to make sure their dogs are happy, safe, and healthy. So, people, if that's something you really care about, you'll pay extra special attention to that.
And again, these aren't Ryan's rules. I mean, Ryan. We're gonna talk it out. It's not my rules either. It's not, there's a governing body. We're
just coming up with different ideas.
And I appreciate Bob's comments too. That's what we're here for. We want to know. We want to know what people like and don't like. You don't like $2, but I'm only teasing you.
I like $2, not 25 though. That's it. Not 25. And they do have people that monitor. The $25. Sorry about that. The $25. Sorry. The $25, they do have somebody who works there, and they take their job as seriously as, they just read a book in a booth, and they don't even look at anybody. So, you got to be careful with that, because, as an idea, if that is something that you do, and like you say, it's 10 and 5 or whatever, and they have somebody there, they don't really for whatever they're getting, they don't really care. They're just and you can see, the other dog just going nuts on other, and their job is to interact so you don't have to, because it's their job, and so I'd just be careful with that.
Anybody else? Very good.
I have a great idea. I have 3 dogs, so I just think it's the most brilliant idea, and you did a great presentation.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan. Any other questions as we are right now? Anybody think of anything else for the skateboarders or for the BMX park or anything? Go ahead. Oh, wait, Jerry.
Back to the dog park, I think it's very important that we have it, and I've known Ryan for a while, and I knew his mother really well, and we both had therapy dogs, and talked about this often. And I live in the same neighborhood, also on the top of Hiawatha Boulevard, which is quite hilly and also dangerous. And it's sometimes really dangerous. I walk my dog all the time, to walk my dog around there, because there are a lot of cars speeding by, even though it says no parking on one side, no parking at any time. They do anyway, and people speed. It's the top of the hill. And sometimes I have to jump out of the way, and if it's at nighttime, it's really dangerous. So I think a park is a wonderful idea, and I support it 100%. And Ryan, you did a fantastic job.
Thank you. Bob.
I just first want to say I'm sorry to hear about what happened to the other gentleman's dog, but I guess it's kind of like, I take my dog to Ridgewood a lot, and it kind of polices itself to a degree, but I'm beside myself thrilled with the idea of having a dog park in town. I will never be on a skateboard, so that is the reason that I want this whole thing to occur, is so I can take my dog there. So I can't thank you enough. I'll do anything to help you, But anyway, that's about what I have to say there. Thank you.
I didn't show before. The dog park is targeted for here. This is not floodplain. This is C1 stream buffer zone in here. So there are different requirements. With me, it's not floodplain. Putting the fence in really wouldn't be the problem. The problem putting the fence in is with C1 and what we can and cannot do. We talked about if we can't put them in the ground, you get some real heavy ones. Maybe it'd be considered temporary fencing until something else is approved for there. Again, it's right next to the skate park here. We didn't have a presentation on the Great Lawn. The Great Lawn still would be here. This would be again the driveway in for Muller's Drive here, parking lot, access to the couple of different things, to the 3 different things here. As well as with all these different things being mentioned, we're still talking 30+ acres of walking trails, including the entire Riverwalk, which unless you go there, you really can't appreciate it. And you can't appreciate the fact that 30 years, the town has not had access to that. I guess if you're at Potash Lake, you're looking over, you can see it. But this is just an incredible space right here. So you want to keep that in mind. And also, we keep talking about committee, subcommittees with these different groups. These guys and any ladies might be involved. This is their thing. The skate park, the dog park, BMX park, where the committee looks over the whole thing, and again, we'll make presentations to the mayor and council, what they like, what they don't like, and it's ultimately the governing body's decision. We're looking at ideas to try to get the whole town involved in what they would like, and again, the first process is opening the park, phase 1. Phase 2, what are these different projects right here? Right.
Have any of the scout leaders been
yes.
called in on this to let the kids know
There's 1, 2 seats
for their
behind
projects?
You. There's 1, 2 seats behind you who contacted me.
Okay.
Yes. The amount of people who have contacted me over the past month and wanting to get involved, wanting to do something is absolutely incredible. I'm not going to say names because no one's signed a dotted line and nothing's been approved. But the amount of people who want to get in and start cutting down bushes and just doing so much different stuff, it's just been phenomenal. I mean, Dr. Gordon, you mentioned, contacted the mayor regarding the dog park from the veterinarian, Rabari maybe he's from, but he's veterinarian, and there's just... Oakland Animal Hospital he's from, okay, all right, I apologize. And so there's just been so much. So to answer your question, yes, and even more so.
Good.
One thing I want to address too is the name of the park. There's been talk about the name. So I brought this back from the first meeting. I'll do things old school again. Why we came up with the names, what names we went through, and what final name we hoped for the park. Obviously, the first one we went through, the first idea we actually had was to go back and name it Pleasureland again. Pleasureland is a time, basically was Camelot, from 1985 prior. And again, Thomas Wolfe said you can't go home again, and to come back to this again, it just wouldn't be right. And I spoke to quite a few people in town when we were first starting this idea, and they said, don't name it Pleasureland, let's do something else. So we kind of passed on that. Another idea is we name it Riverfront Park, which is a great idea. The issue with naming it, because it has access to the river, the thing that we didn't like with Riverfront Park is that there are like 50 Riverfront parks in New Jersey. I mean, you have the one in Newark, the big one in Newark with Riverfront Stadium. Great name, great idea. Just it wouldn't be unique to Oakland. It would just get lost amongst the shuffle. The park at Oakland. I like that, but it sounds more like a restaurant. So unless you put little cafe tables out there. But, so we kind of passed on that. We've been calling it for a while the Great White Oak Park. And couple of issues with this. One, it doesn't flow smoothly. A lot of words, and the acronym is not very cool. So we kind of passed on that. So what we thought about doing, the committee, Mark, Steve, as well as Councilman Visconti has helped us, but we'll come up with Mark and Steve, we come up with the name, and we think of what we're going to do is we're going to take the white out and just go Great Oak Park. It still represents the tree. It still has the word oak for Oakland. It still represents the environment, which we want to take care of, and it's unique to Oakland. And this is a diagram that Daniel Visconti also did. He did this, and he created this for us. And we put the Great Oak there, found in 2013, and this was the name we hope to go with the park. Again, this is just us trying to come up with the ideas, presenting them to the town, and trying to address the different names of what we chose and why we didn't choose it. I mean, yeah, I mean, the tree is just a tree. I did the video. The video doesn't, when you go there, it's a magnificent tree. It was too many words. Yeah, if the Pleasureland guys are for it, that's. Yeah, it's Joe and Mike. The former Joe owned the park. Him and his family owned the park in the 60s and 70s. Mike in the 80s.
Thank you. I mean, I liked the name Pleasureland for years. I can remember when I was a kid, and probably, I don't know if anybody here knows, but when you used to come down Doty Road, there was a big tree up on top of 202, and it had a big red sign with a big arrow going down like this, and it said Pleasureland. Mm-hmm. And you just drove down there and into the park, and, for years. But the Great White Oak Park, it sounded kind of a little strange to me, but when you just said this now, the Great Oak, I think it's perfect, I think it's really good. Yeah.
Thank you.
So.
Thanks. And again, Joe, Dad really was the owner in the 60s and 70s. So we hope to name that one street up after him. And Mike Mike's family owned it late 70s, 80s.
Right.
We're going to have other naming things for this path, that path. But
I was also going to tell you my Uncle Lou. You could call another thing Louis Lane.
We'll find something.
Louis Lane. My Uncle Louis.
We will find something.
Yeah, I don't just saying. You don't have to do that. I'm just saying that's great.
Go ahead, Mike. Yeah.
Mike, we talked about the other things too. You gotta incorporate the color too.
Well, you know what? The idea, I didn't really discuss it. This is Pleasureland blue. It's just a very specific teal pool blue, which you may have seen some of the pictures. And the guys they're going to help us find the artifacts and name them.
I hate that paint. No. We used to paint the pools, the tables, everything.
But that's part of the history. And if you walk the park, there's swing sets. And the signs we're thinking of possibly, with approval, the signs will be that color. Yeah. And this is what this is at the end, painted, Pleasureland blue. And it's all around the park. And plus, Pleasureland, in the whole thing, in this whole scope of the park, Pleasureland is a third of the property. The other 2/3 was Muller's Farm, Muller's Park, and FRG. But it seemed like, again, the Camelot seems to be the Pleasureland. The Pleasureland stories in the family. So that's what, like keep the color. But we're going to move on past this. And we're going to move on to the future. And
I like that.
Hopefully that'll be it.
Good choice.
That's a nice thing.
Thank you.
Mike, and also with that, I know I mentioned it to you before, and we mentioned it at the last meeting. See if you can find out the ownership on that
on the area
on
of the
that
bar.
property across the street from the entrance to the Pleasureland entrance, as well as all of that property from 202 to that roadway that leads into, because that was all Pleasureland property.
Oakland doesn't own that property?
I don't know. I have to look at the tax.
Because that was
tax
my
rules,
father's, that was his property, the bar, behind the bar.
Right.
Except for Brock's house.
Brock,
Yeah, except for Brock's house, and there was another house behind it. Right.
Yeah, we'll look at the tax map to see what that property
And then
is.
all the way down the road that went down towards Wayne, going that way, there was, we had what, 1, 2, 3, I think we owned 3 or 4 houses down there. 4 houses. So I thought that was all owned by but it could, who knows? I mean.
We'll look into that. We have to go to your tax map. Anybody else? One thing, this has been a project for about a year, a little over a year. From day one, when we just met in the shed, I mean, in the Oakland rec shed, we just paper and pencil. Mark, Councilman Visconti, and Steve, who's been back here the whole time doing the AV duties tonight. I mean, it's grown. It's just grown, and we started with an idea, and we tried to get the town involved, and I think the town has been involved in the amount of stuff that's come forth to us, good and bad. I mean, positive and negative, and negative doesn't mean it's negative towards us. Doesn't mean it's negative in general. It's just a different idea, and we have to do what people feel is right. And I just really want to thank them for all their work, and still a lot more work to go. We just, but I appreciate all that. Any more questions? Anything else? Mr. Frapel, wait for the mic. Wait. Oh.
Here we go. No, I just realized that we have on top of Skyline Drive what used to be Oakland Run and Gun trap shooting range there. And right now, there's a bucket loader that I believe Jim Pondage donated to the town. And they're quite big, quite nice, and they use them for the leaf to make mulch. And then when it wasn't economical anymore, they did away with it. So I think it's pretty much sitting. I wonder would that be utilized to make these trails, et cetera?
We're gonna use everything at our disposal and not cost it down money. If it's available to us, we will. The Pondage family's offered. They've given us some quotes. You know, James Construction's done a lot for us, and you know, I think even Steve mentioned with the bike park. So I'm sure they'll be helping us along the way.
Oh, great! That could cut out those sticky weeds.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Yes.
All right. That's our presentation for tonight, the second town hall meeting, and I'd like to thank everybody for showing up tonight. And watch the stuff in rerun because there's a long meeting tonight. And thank you for coming.